Did you know that there are well over 300 Old Testament prophecies concerning Jesus? That is centuries and even thousands of years before Jesus walked on the earth in the flesh. You might be familiar with that line, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Now, some of you might be thinking, what was Jesus alluding to? What was he experiencing? Now, there are some theologians who subscribe to that thought that at that point in time, he was experiencing that separation from God, which comes from carrying sin before it was being atoned for. I am more likely to believe that Jesus was actually practicing a Jewish tradition in rabbinic scripture study. It's called the Remez with rabbinic interpretation. So what does that mean? Remez means hint. So it hints to the larger context. So what Jesus was doing is pointing to an entire portion of scripture. When Jesus said, my God, why have you forsaken me?" He was referencing Psalm 22, which is Psalm 22 verse 1. So why was he citing the entire psalm? Now, all of the religious leaders that were surrounding him and scoffing him and standing up and observing what was taking place would have immediately thought of Psalm 22 and remembered that Psalm 22 was actually painting a picture that was unfolding in real time. There was descriptions and imagery of a crucifixion. Now, mind you, Psalm 22 was written centuries before crucifixion was even a practice. So not only was it referencing that crucifixion experience, it was also describing in real time the scoffers who were surrounding him while he was on the cross. It also cited the garments being divided and even the executioners casting dice for the garments. I mean, talk about absolutely specific and happening right in front of them. I mean, if they were trying their best to ignore all the other signs, they right in daylight in front of their eyes, they were seeing this unfold. So in addition to that, there's also another line in Psalm 22 that says, I am a Tola, I am not a man. I am a worm and not a man. So the worm is actually Tola. So it's a specific type of worm. And this is very exciting. So the Tola worm is the worm that they used to crush in order to get that scarlet color that they would use for tabernacle garments, those articles. So the Tola, in order to use it, they had to crush it. So Jesus was alluding to himself as the Tola worm. Now, the very cool thing about the Tola is that the Tola, when it's about to lay their eggs, it would just attach itself to a tree, create a cocoon, and when the baby worms are born, they would just feed off of the mother Tola. So the Tola mom would just sacrifice her life to feed her children, and then when she dies, it would leave a red stain on the bark of the tree, which is similar to what was taking place with Jesus and on his at the cross. Now, when the Tola eventually died, last part of the life cycle, it would just kind of disintegrate into this white waxy substance that would actually fall like snow. Now, we think about the redemption story, what Jesus has done, his own sacrifice that allows us to be washed clean, taken care of, and even cleanse us as white as snow in our spirit man. So the Tola and that crushing that's even necessary for their old-time practice, when you think about that blood and crushing, even blood was used in the sprinkling in the tabernacle to allow the priest to enter into the Holy of Holies, to enter into God's presence. So Jesus did all of that for us. So the reference was, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing for you. So I'm Cherise Madera, and I'm from the Lighthouse Lounge.